We all appreciate this brother. And I know the brother doesn't need stroking. He ain't about that. But everybody likes to be appreciated regardless. Let's extend a round of applause for this brother and bring him on in the righteous way. Steve Coley.
And the core of negativity no doubt. There we go. That evil restaurant in Washington, D.C. And to fight the core of negativity, how one perceives that has to do with their perceptions of it. If we were to walk through church and ask, "You've seen the devil," you would get a different explanation for every church you went to. There is no uniform description or ID of the core of negativity. I mean, there is, but it isn't in the public. Probably more people have the job to destroy the devil than any other job that we have in the community. I think we have more religious leadership. Some would call it preachers. But we have more of that job-wise than probably any other profession self-created within our community. But there is no uniform description of what they all speak against. It all has various manifestations. So I tend to bring mine this way. Brother Copeland don't have a one way to go at it. Whoever it is that runs whatever it is, then we ought to see them manifest through certain things. It ought to be that the education tends to reflect their values, that the military tends to fight their wars, that the government tends to represent their interests, that the court tends to declare what is right or wrong from their point of view. And that these would be indicators of where it was and we can find this core of negativity. I have always felt from the day I emerged as a brother to be responsible of trying to get to the bottom of this, that this was an action goal. As I say, I can stand here all night and tell you that we were going to catch the devil and kill it, and at the end of this, someone will ask me, "Well, Brother Steve, where are you going with this?" Because just saying that is not enough for some people who only use one side of their brain and one side of their soul. That's right. So they only see things one way. It only has a relative. Well, you better give what you can while you're little, brother. You better do what you can. And it's not a divine responsibility. No one takes responsibility for anything beyond themselves. Oh, let's talk about the Father. Oh, yeah. All right. He's talking about the devil. You know that. But the bottom line is, you understand that the brother makes this suggestion. As I started off, people were telling me about the Illuminati, and they had descriptions about Satan, and they had all these various analysis, and all I could do was find one group of people that was running the world, and by studying that theme of certain groups of people, I was able to find many more people. And I've been dibbling and dabbling on this ground for almost 20 years. And I stand before you to suggest that what I know and found about this team, there's no fear. I have no fear on the level of penetrating on this type of enemy. In the black community, in the white community. Now, years ago, when I first got going, I was reading everything I could on the FBI and the CIA, and that led me to the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, and then that led me to the Council on Foreign Relations of the Bilderberg Group, and then the IMF and the World Bank, and then it led me into the various think tanks and the Brookings, Moran, etc. Then it led me into the esoteric side. By the time I got to D.C., I started talking about Masonry and looking into the esoteric side of symbolism and started to notice several things. Somewhere there I was messing with Columbus and colonialism. But each and every one of those things was leading towards a particular conclusion or a certain summary or analysis. For a while, I used to use a description about the hidden hands. Every time they wanted to describe power, somehow they always showed their hands, but never showed the faces. And I can find thousands of articles that relate to talking about power with only hands and not faces. And these are old things I'm showing you now, but I'm leading you to something I want to refresh your memory deep about. And those symbols, we talked for years about the bar holding of people stuff. I had a tape back there on the make called The Rise of the Beast God Soldiers Counterattack. And it was talking about the use of barcodes. And even though they told somebody somewhere somebody would rise up and get control of buying and selling, there never emerged a particular set of activity focused towards where is the bottom of this. I always asked everybody where it was So somewhere, if you have barcoded all of these items, somewhere you have to ensure there's not duplication. Where is that? Last night I was at George Mason University. When I asked the students where were they mostly taken, there was probably more people in the computer stuff than anything. And I asked them, have they seen certain movies like The Net and Hackers and other things that suggested that those people who were emerging out of the computer industry were evil. Bill Gates just did a big long story on the Newsweek magazine. And Brother Juan was pointing out, he said some things in there that almost made him sound like a devil. Bill Gates, or Bill stands at the gate, or whatever he's doing. But he also gave me even a flyer, somebody I think they put out on the internet, talking about how Bill Gates' name taken down in the cross in several different ways, all added up to 6, 6, and 6. Even Microsoft 95, when he broke it down, added up to 6, 6 and 6. And every damn thing about Bill Gates added up to 3 6s.
Check.
But for the point of strategy, wherever it is that this devil is, how many Masons are involved in barcoding? Maybe not many. Maybe those guys who are Masons are lower level technicians or operators who act out a certain something, but maybe the people who put the barcodes ain't in the Masonry, but somehow they tend to be doing the same type of things that lead towards the same type of conclusions. Though they're not in the same organizations or structures, it's as if. Maybe it is that they're destined to go a certain way, destined to do a certain something. It turned off the front. Somewhere I think they cut the cord on the picture here, but we'll get it together. And in fact, I could use it right now if I could. Just, I guess it's something that knocks the electricity out down front. One of the switches he hit. It's back on? All right, thank you. All right, you all know that symbolism. So if the guy who's in Microsoft and the guy over at the House of the Mother Supreme ain't in the same organization, how are they going to be doing down to the same similar things? Where is the signal? Where is the code? Where have they struck unity in symbolism that has propelled them to operate in uniform? Somehow they seem to all know the same sorts of things. You all remember I showed this in almost every lecture I had when I used overhead, Romulus and Remus. And I showed this simply because I wanted to draw an analogy between an animal and the white man. Now some people may be seeking to reform them, to talk with them, to be with them, and to come to some manageable conclusion. But I don't know, I ain't talked to too many wolves or beasts or she-wolves or anything lately. Haven't been able to make a damn bit of sense out of what they were talking. I know they was talking, but I ain't made a damn bit of sense out of the fact that they was trying to eat my ass up and people who look like me and you. That's all I can understand about what they were saying. So I don't talk beast talk, but I just suggest again to our community that before we try to give the beast a new lease on life, part of what compelled us to have this lecture was that it might be in the moment when we had more men standing ready to stand up. You see, the law of the land is retribution. Eye for an eye, you reap what you sow. Those things are locked into the universe. You can't break that. Right. And I was trying to explain even to the students last night at George Mason, they sitting up there with all the white folks, that if the shit broke out, would you really be willing to do on the white person that you're around? Show you how much they love them. I'm standing there talking. And I can tell from the day they love white people. They had this nice, beautiful black boy, white boy. It was a white boy. Went across, and he had this beautifully white painted wall that had this red mark. So I'm talking to him, and I said, I know you got a little white man. So I took the red mark and wrote, put a dot on the white wall. You should have heard them all gas and coldly roll on the wall. My point to that is, we're going to have to kill the beast. You can't write on the wall. So I suggest that even though our minds may be made up, there may be others who have not yet made up their mind. And I suggest, like when we when we start talking about laying up the concept of Satan, I always use that Romulus and Remus to make suggestions. I always show you the same little portion. I've done it 100 times about what the Romulus and Remus mean, about the neat way of accounting for a group of people that have no known origin. That it was a neat way of accounting for the arrival of a new force like the background or family. And that compelled me to do the tape called The People Who Came Out of the Earth versus the People Who Came to the Earth. The fundamental conclusion was that it was something different about the cave people. Right. Those people who came up out of the earth, who learned the things as they were emerging deep out of the concrete of their trapped-in captive womb. And then, you know, I showed you, and I mentioned it many times, the definition of the word cave and hell, and we saw very specifically that it dealt very directly with the fact that the German word Hölle, yeah, brought some extra equipment here tonight. That can help yourself with you. German word Hölle. Any of you have, oh, here we go. There we go, we got it. That somehow was something unique about this. Hölle and Halle, that the words for cave and hell were similar, was now without coincidence. That's from the dictionary of symbols. That those words were similar. And I mention that because it's important. Look at that dictionary of symbols now, right? You could be in the back. Oh, here we go. That had something to do with the white people. And then we also went on to suggest that also it was something to this word. It was something to that word. Hollywood. And that has been very representative. I got that other light there. And that there was something going on there. Now, somebody will look up and say, well, you know, Hollywood is all right. Black people, we got people making movies and stuff. But that's not what I'm talking about. I don't think yet. You still can't find two things. What is it? I saw, what's my man? He did an excellent job. Doug, who used to play rock. He was on the Fox Morning News one morning talking about why he wasn't on TV anymore. And the guy said, well, you know, why aren't you on? You would have had a great series, Rock. He said, I'm not on because I wouldn't be a buffoon for the Fox network. He said, if I was an asshole like that Mark, and I played a buffoon, then I would still be on, but I wouldn't do it. Yeah. And he went on to get into Hollywood in a way. He said, there's no black people ever been on TV after 9 o'clock.
He's a real man.
And he suggested that uniformly Hollywood, locked down, bound to the bone, been anti-black. Right. Therefore, it doesn't sound illogical to me that Hollywood, Halle, and Ole, came hell in LA, all make sense to me. It does not sound so far-fetched. So that becomes important that we understand that that's relevant. Now, you know I spent some time doing this. You remember we went around and we did this in the past. We put up that we hold a pale horse. You know how many times in the lecture we laid that out? Again, is that too shiny? Yeah. The top lights are out, but I guess they needed those lights for the day. We have to do the best we can. But again, the pale horse was the book. But the point of it was that we drew the analogy between the book and Clinton. And notice the phrase there goes, we know the answer to this now. We know the answer to the question, can Clinton tame wasps they on? No. He was a devil when he got here. So we understand that Clinton is being white male. With white water. And that's how he became president. You know, we talked about in the past about P-Rock, right? He jumped out the race. And it's still uniform that it's the bullet and not the ballot, because that's the same reason Colin Powell they asked in the race. And perceive. It's only a perception that being a punk is safe. That's just a perception. No signification. And so the point of that is that it must be somewhere that confidence arises to do battle against evil, and it comes from being right, it comes from knowing what you're doing, and having a purpose and a goal. So we already knew, we come talking about the devilized and pale horse, and we've always uniformly never let go of the concept of evil. We went right on this path, going right to the fact that Clinton had horns on his head. You remember us talking about this. We went right to the fact that it was devil right on Clinton. And I was sure you can see the horns on his head. Just like you can see them too, even to the point that China Magazine, Washington Post, January 2nd, 1933, and the USA Today all had to do stories on the fact that Clinton looked like the devil did. Now that was one side of our discussion. When I first started coming here in 91, I was talking to you a little bit about the Rockefellers and the taking over the American cities. I remember one big night in the Blackburn Center. All I did was talk about how they used control boards to take over control of the cities, but it wasn't one here yet. And everybody felt Brother Steve just be talking about esoteric shit that don't make no difference in their personal life. But in fact, it's here now, isn't it? The control board is here now, isn't it? Well, who were those devils who were who were those devils who were for statehood that brought us the control board? Because you have not learned that though they say one thing, they mean just the opposite. Now that Jesse has succeeded in delivering you to the fool-age, trial commissioner, Rockefeller, Butler, Andrew Brimmer, he can now leave here and go back to Chicago to head, or should I say, to be pushed back in the bush. Because when Mr. Farrakhan stood his son up at Mount Meridian after the Million Man March, he won the election in Chicago. And his cosmic soul will suffer for bringing that little devil up to a high level. He had no right to bring the devil out of the hole. He couldn't have got out of the hole if he didn't lift him out of there. Listen to the tape October 23rd, 1995 from Ross Mariana, where Jesse Jackson gave the main speech. He's a whore, he's a devil. And he deserved no boost from the brother. Now, we said that the control boards were the process by which the businessmen, the money people, or the fraternity people were taking over the so-called elected people. You witnessed right here, brother sat here and told you, first the DC budget deficit, you know the score. You know what the budget deficit was. It was first how much? That's how much it ended up. be used even to block a road, like a log off a tree. So now, we come into town, we didn't go to the control board, we start talking about this. We say, hey, y'all know about this skull and bones? Girl, I'm going to tell you how many of them Bush skull and bones tapes you bought, because Bush was the president then. Oh no, I take that back, he was gone. Yeah, he wasn't the president, but I got him. Bush was the president. And there was discussion about skull and bones and whether women could get in it. But we made a suggestion. All I used to do was talk about skull and bones and run over there to that Masonic temple and buy aprons of skull and bones and showed you them aprons and showed you these books and said, hey, you know, something was up with this skull and bones and how George Bush and all these other people were involved. And I read these same little stupid little articles. Every article I can find about skull and bones, the tomb George Bush came from. Should I show you these things? New York Times, November 4th, 88, which is where their headquarters at in New Haven, Connecticut. You want to get the tape? Revolution 103 from New Haven, Connecticut, where Yale University is at, where Skull and Bones is headquartered. Little did I know as I was on this journey to expose Skull and Bones, using that book, America's Secret Establishment. You should have that book. Brother Charles, you got that book with you tonight? America's Secret Establishment? You got an Anglo-American establishment? Need that? Y'all need to get that book from Brother Charles. These are books from the Prince of the Devil. You got Rockefeller file back there, don't you? Gone. Gone. All right. You bought the next file. That's it. All right. Through generations, the most influential of senior societies, seen by outsiders as the hand. Why does hand keep coming up? That quietly, oh so quietly, guides the nation's foreign policy. Intelligence apparatuses, premier banking houses with a formidable presence at the bar and on the bench. But little did I know when the brother was standing here rocking you. Look at this skull and bones, look at this skull and bones. Little did I know. Little did I know. Little did I know that it would lead to the fact that even the damn bootleg was based on some stuff that I was learning on the skull and bones level. Let me just say this. September 77 of Esquire magazine, the story about Rosenblum on skull and bones. September 77, Esquire magazine. Also, I told you about another piece on skull and bones. It'll come to me in a minute. That you would look up something on skull and bones. Besides this New York Times article, November 4th, 88. But little did I know that the black group that we would come, as we was digging down in the devil's den, every time we reach down there and pull some other shit up, what comes up but the bootleg? Little did I know that the bootleg I held in my left hand was related to the skull and bones in my right hand. But then all the devils are hooked together. If you dig long enough, you'll see that they're holding each other hand and tail. Usually they walk in a circle. It's a ritual. Usually walk around each other like this. It's not accidental. I'm here to even tell you now that I'm prepared to say it. And I have to say it, that Mason thing, that bootleg thing, that Greek thing, these are Satan things. These ain't nothing but rituals. These are satanic organizations. And I'm prepared to lay before you tonight why I came to that conclusion. Little did I know that in summary, Minton, who was the founder of the bootleg, in summary, Minton wanted to create an organization which would partake, in his own words, of the tenets of skull and bones in Yale. In Phi Beta Kappa, for years, I only used the skull and bones in Yale part because I didn't know what the damn thing about Phi Beta Kappa. I've been sitting on some stuff that I just didn't have time to look in, that when I looked at it, it was even deeper connected. Skull and bones in Yale, these black men coming in 1904, what did they know about skull and bones in Yale starting in 1832? What did they know about it? What would make them want to do it? What would make a group of black guys want to be like this? This is some evil shit, far as I know. Anybody consider this a godlike symbol?
No.
Is this some positive shit?
No.
Don't look that way to me. So my suggestion is, must be some evil to guy drew a circle. Now we're talking about one of the antennas or the power of the devil. So they call the order has penetrated every segment of American society. So if the boule is walking around the boule of the skull and bones, and the boule of the skull and bones is walking around banking, the White House, education, media, publishing, business, industry, commerce, churches, banking, Federal Reserve, money is a fraternity, foundations, think tanks, policy groups, legislators, political parties. You see, this is where our people fail. They fail to believe that evil could be so comprehensive based on their limited understanding of reality. I know so little. How can all of that be together? Now, they can sit up and realize that the damn NFL, which is some evil shit, brother, I'm going to tell you how evil it is, how they can plan schedules all the way to the year 2002 about football, but they can't believe you can plan evil. I mean, we believe you can make a good movie and take 2 years to do it, but we can't believe they can spend 100 years planning to take over the world. We have disparate weight of judgment. So, if the black guys are hanging around these guys and those guys are hanging around those places, what is it about this? What is it about that makes them all so linked and locked together? Now, let me make this suggestion. That these guys who are the what do they call them? These skull and bones boys. Let me hook this up for you. These skull and bones boys, they have, as the guy used in his book, and this is long before I ever saw his book, I always give the analogy of the circle within the circles. When I pull open his book, I find he got the circles within the circles. And that's very important because we're going to find how these circles relate all the way to Adam Weishaupt. Y'all ever heard of him? Adam Weishaupt. What's his name? Y'all heard of him, right? He runs that thing y'all love to talk about. Y'all love to talk about the Illuminati. Y'all do. Y'all love to talk about it. But as I listen to y'all talk about it, I know how really little you understand of it. The Illuminati. Everybody say, you gotta stop the Illuminati. You gotta stop the Illuminati. So I asked them, who's the Illuminati? And they tell me about how we spot. That's some of the ways to go from there. Said, well, you know what's the name of the Lord from all of that? Yes, it is. But I tend to neutralize it in a way to lay it right up on something. And how it would manifest so, they're on research. In this article over here, you all remember this article from Satan to the Sphinx. This is part of what made brother and I get together. The story from Satan to the Sphinx, the Masonic mysteries of the DC map. And it was in here, there was a little discussion. It had something in there that said, it referred to another book. And I knew a guy in LA who was really an expert in this book, Brother Marcus. You all have heard him on them tapes from the Good Life. And I said, brother, they mentioned in this article, it says, anyway, it was not octagons that interested the 18th century revolutionaries, it was circles and triangles. James H. Billington, writing in, quote, Fire in the Minds of Men, described at length the connection between the concepts of Pythagorean order and a revolution that developed during that period. These Pythagorean passions seriously influenced the organized activities of the first revolutionaries. And it had something to do about the circle and the triangle. So I called my man, Brother Marcus, and asked him to look in his book to see if he could find for me what this guy may have been talking about these circles and triangles. And this is what he found on page 102. He found this. Come on back. Look at his sweet spot. He's been trying to put away. He's trying to put that in the chair. Excuse me, as a wise man, I said, you don't need to walk forward. Y'all excuse this, my handwriting. Fire in the Minds of Men, page 102, states that Adam Weishaupt appears to have been the first to use is the political area, circle to explain the politicization of the movement. Adam Leesburg was the first one to come forth and discuss this discussion here about the circle within a circle. You all know that every lecture I've ever done, I've always used, but tell me how many times. We went down to Hampton and back to Bush Skull and Bones taped it ourselves. This tape was down in Hampton, Virginia, going down there where Bush is getting ready to be the commencement speaker to address the subject on Bush and Skull and Bones, and the little African study group got scared and told me that they couldn't introduce me and that they didn't want me to speak though they had invited me. And Brother Tim, who went down there with the other brothers and sisters, had to introduce me. And he said, it's a shame that I have to stand here and introduce the brother that come 5 hours by car to let you hear from a man who you can't even address. And all we was doing was trying to get at the circle within a circle. Now, I always tell everybody, there's some better down analysis of these people. Then give it up, bring it forward, I'll back this down and go on with yours. Because I'm going to be going at them, whether it's with this or with something better. In fact, what we have done, these things really are a culmination of all of our efforts. What is up here comes from you. Marcus de Lucien, however you say the right name. It says in 2 key chapters of his book, Marquez describes the circle as the key 9-man cell conspiracy. 9 men. 9. That number is very significant as we start dibbling it down into the Boule, the Grecian Sphinx, the Latin edifice, the Supreme Court, and the cross. So you should look up page 102, Empires in the Eyes of Men. And so that meant that what we had always said, when we used the book Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley, and you all know we used this book on many times, we always said, quote Carol Quigley, and every lecture I ever gave, it was the Rose Rothschild secret society. It was the circle within a circle with the court in the center. And you must remember again that this outer circle is the association of helpers, this inner circle is the circle of initiates, and here in the center is the chief of the devils. In fact, when you look at Mary Palmer Hall's book, and he did a description of the Kabbalistic scheme of the 4 worlds, it's just like trying to bury into the middle of that circle. Somewhere in there is the center of evil. You have to decide at what level you penetrate. Are you over here somewhere? Are you in here somewhere? Are you standing on the verge of getting it on? Let's get it on. You have to decide where you are in life. I know where I am. Standing on the verge of getting it on. We got it on. And you know what? We did it with no money. No support. But you the little people. Only the little people were participating in bringing down the biggest of the big people. When we find those little that have a little and want some more, they're torn and confused. They have not made up their mind as they dabble in 2 worlds. And that might be the more dangerous element than the enemy itself. The enemy will get what it's got coming. It's been waiting on him. You know how sometimes you fuck up and you say, boy, I wish I might could just get this off of me. You know, you hold it off the yoke and you can get the feeling of doing something bad off of you. Well, that's the way the enemy feels. Don't lose your confidence when it comes to destroying and killing the beast. They know they got it coming. Don't you lighten up on them. Don't you find an excuse to let them go. This is the cover of the book, Tragedy and Hope. What does he have on the cover? He got a damn diamond. Tragedy and Hope, this is the best single book you can find on the people who stand at the top. But this is the book that talks about the circle within a circle, but he got a triangle on the cover. The diamond, it looks like you, DC. We're proud Brother Tim. I want you to tell me what time is it on all of these watches. What time is it on the watches? What time is it? Huh? 10 past. 2 get out. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go get 10 past. 2 get out. What time is it, Brother Tim? What time is it? 10:10. Now come on here, look at this one here. Look at it again. Tell me what time it is. What time is that? Huh? What time is that? All the clocks on there. What time is it? Y'all see that? Y'all look at them clocks. Every day I pass around. I don't care what the ad is. You look at any ad on the watch, the time, Brother Hamza, is 10 by 10. Now what the ad? You go to the lottery in D.C., you will see every day the number that sells out is 1010. What the fuck is up with the 1010? What is up with the 1010? Y'all take a pass these out. I don't understand it. Just look at it. Every way you turn. All the watches got 1010. Y'all take that one. I forgot what's in there. The 1010. Why do you want to forget that? 10, 2, 10. Why is it always one? Now you all remember, the fact that that time is 10:10 can't be no arbitrary thing. In fact, if you look at it, the second hand is usually around 30, 31, 33 to 35. The second hand. Why is that? And now remember about the thing about being arbitrary. Remember I told you all, standing alone, about them damn hamburgers and Wendy's. Yeah. And you all know that hamburgers and Wendy's are square. That's the only thing different in the Mac burger. And then when I told you that the boy Dave is here on the cover of the Scottish Rite magazine, and that Dave is a big-time 32nd degree Mason, and Dave's burgers are square, you will understand that even the hamburger wasn't an arbitrary shape. So the fact that 1010 rides on the clock needs further investigation. Now I suggest this got something to do with the time of the lease. And the beast is sent out to all the children in the beast land. What time is it? Now, when is duck time? If all of a sudden you start looking at those watches and every single ad now got 11 o'clock, I know shit that happens. So you got to watch to see if all those ads change. And if that's not arbitrary. And that all of that has something to do with us getting closer to the core of negativity. Now, so what began to happen was that the rise of the devil was related to the consolidation of worldwide power. That the consolidation of worldwide power had something to do with the unification of hell. Now you all know, it was Brother Pope who was the only one who messes with you like this. Why is this a society where the people walk around like that? Y'all know Brother Pope will tell you that shit, don't he? He bugs you about the fact that nobody's hurt. That's right, they say hello in the land of the devils. And I raise the question with you, how can people subconsciously come to each other with this word? Now I told you in the dictionary of symbols, when you look for the word hell, you won't find it. It only says this. It only says heaven over earth. The dictionary of symbols ain't no word called hell. It's just called heaven and earth. Now, this may be the greatest fallacy of religion. When has it been broken straight down to the people that all of us are in hell? Has it ever gone that raw? No. Has it always been that we would lead people through series of deceptions about how we can lead them to something else? When in fact we had already failed what they warned you against. And that's why we need to pick up on the discussion about the people who came out of the earth versus the people who came to the earth. Because you saw, even in the dumb movie Stargate, that the white people admitted to you that the pyramids were no more than corresponding points to the stars. Those are you, the people who came to the earth. Now the question is, why were you sent here? If you've never been allowed to exploit other people because So we then began to agree that there was a series of things that we would need to look at to now begin to distinguish where are the little devils, the medium devils, and the big devils. And that led us to then know the difference between an owner and an operator. Well, it's not too difficult to track it because we know that any little bitty, two-bit little masons who espouse the pyramid with the all-seeing eye, with the shit they got going on, this is imitation for what they're trying to do. And we all know that them little bitty masons who serve those who own the land, we know it's something different from one who owns the land and one who operates for one who owns the land. And so we need to give prioritization to our devils. Deep devil, middle devil, big devil. So then we began to walk through institutions. Since Adam Weisbach was the one who came up with what? The circles within a circle. In fact, I have a saying up here from quickly. I'm going to show it to you in a second. But we know then that we can follow a flow chart. That, oh, I left somebody off here. There's two people got away. Where the Rose of Rothschild at? Get yourselves back up here. Two people just escaped. Let's go back. There was a white boy named Ruskin who was inspired by Weisbach. Ruskin was an albino white racist. You go to the Chicago Tribune. In Chicago, you'll see a tribute to Ruskin right in the floor. And it suggests that Ruskin says, never mind how it is, what methods we take to steal the world. Just remember our children will thank us for having done it. They will not question what we did to get it.
Whoa.
That's in the floor of the Chicago Tribune. And I take great pride that when they had to throw me out of the mayor's office in Chicago, it was the Tribune that came front center to lead the attack because I had been attacking them. Only seemed logical to me. Little sidebar, you can barely see it, but the logo for FEMA is here. This is the logo for FEMA, and you can barely see it, but it's a circle with a triangle in it. That's the logo of FEMA. Anyway, and we said that was something to them circles with the triangles in it. So we know that Ruskin inspired Cecil Rhodes, who's still around today, not in death, not in life, but in death through his scholarships and others, and Lord Rothschild. Now what is this word here, Lord, have to do with God? That word Lord don't mean God. So when they say Lord Jesus Christ, Lord my God, they ain't talking about nothing but the devil. So Rhodes and Rothschild formed a secret society in the 1800s. You know, we talked about this 8 million times, but the reason I keep coming back to it is this. That Brother Copeland believes he has set a pattern for those who have emerged as the chief devils. And those people who run the world now, those people who then set up the Circle of Initiates, the Association of Helpers, emerged as the Round Table Group. They emerged as the Round Table Group. Now, you're looking for the Illuminati. And everybody got all them books about Epperson, all them books about the hidden hand and the, what else is that, New World Order. All of those books do spend some time speaking up into the societies. But we want to make sure we understand that we focus on the Round Table Group because we already know we spoke like the circle within a circle, and we already know that, where does it say that? Get up here, Carol quickly, with speaking of the circle within a circle. Anyway, it's up here, I might jump somewhere. Now, so, again, I remind you, if you look back at that anthem start here, you'll see again the triangle within the circle. The triangle within the circle. And that's not arbitrary. Now, so they emerge. So now we need to follow the institutions that they impact. You all know about the Royal Institute for International Affairs in England. You know that he gave birth to the Round Table Group. You know that the Round Table Group in England then set up Round Table Groups in Russia, France, Italy, Spain, etc. You know that the Round Table Group led to the formation of the Bilderberg Group in 1950. You know that the Round Table Group privately, the Bilderberg Group publicly, formed the European Common Market in 52. You know that the European Common Market in 52 led to the Club of Rome to produce this book right here called The Limits to Growth Theory. I suggest to you in The Rise of the Beast, God's Soldiers Counterattack, that in 1972 when a group of white men had suggested that they could limit growth, they were announcing the death of God. And the fact that they chose the year of 72 to do it, and the 72 squares on that pyramid that's on that dollar bill, and the 72 is their word for God in different Hebraic formats. And if you ask a Mason what 72 is, he'll swear he doesn't know. But he knows that 72 is the code or the key to the one they call He, known as God in some circles. In reality, He is the devil. The limits to growth by the Club of Rome. You can look at this in the back. But God is growth. The only way you know you're still living is that you're still growing. Life is evidence of growth, right? Growth is evidence of life. So, in 72 they came. But simultaneously in 72, the Trilateral Commission started. It started in 72 simultaneously. And what did Baphomet do? He did some satanic things. This is what he did. He took 3 arrows. And he brought these 3 arrows together in this little logo. And you know, when you take those 3 arrows together like that, and you push them together, you push these 3 arrows together, they form a triangle. Now, is Rockefeller just sitting up in New York, jacking off, making triangles? You know, if you take them 3 arrows and you swing them together like this, you know what it is. You know those are the 3 sixes. If you look to the logo of the World Future Society, you know what the logo, it looks like this. 3 sixes. Is it accidental that these things are all coming up, pushed into a triangle? What is the recycling symbol? Same thing. How is it that a product that dies and rises from the dead comes out of triangle? Is that arbitrary that they chose 3 arrows? Sound like recycling is one thing into something else. Why is it just 2 arrows? So the suggestion is that in 72, when the Club of Rome, on one hand, took the limits to growth, Rockefeller, on the other hand, began the process of merging those 3 regions of the world. And you all know what those 3 regions are. We didn't talk about them 8 million times. United States, Western Europe, and Japan. And you all know, we talked about more than anybody. More than anybody. And we look at these focuses and these forces as having some impact on our society. I couldn't tell you how I was ridiculed so in Chicago when I was being told that this was meaningless to black people until the control board started coming, and I could trace the control boards to a position paper called The Crisis of Democracy. In 1975. As they began to start taking over New York, Cleveland, Chicago with control boards. Finished in 1980. But I said this wasn't just the businessmen taking over, this was evil taking over. These businessmen are above and beyond the law. They just passed the Security Exchange Law the other day, limiting the ability of a citizen to file a case against a corrupt business stock trader. The buying and selling being has hit the 5,000 mark. The buyers and sellers have break a new record of a new high in the stock market. The buyers and sellers were foretold in the right on through European common market in 52. But we can't forget the United Nations in 44 to 46. After World War II, the United Nations gave birth to the Supreme Security Council, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and now it operates off of humanitarian intervention. The Club of Rome led into the European Parliament in 79, led up to the European Union in 92, did it not? And I suggest that the centralization of worldwide power is the unifying of devil power. Now I know you sit there and you say, man, I'm really sick of the brother talking this shit. We're going to have enough of this all the time. It's talking the same shit. Well, the reality is it ain't but one set of folks up there. That's right. And if you can find another set of folks up there, I'll put these folks down and work with your folks. And you know, like the brother said, well, the new world, white world, right? Now, so now we start dipping and dabbling up in these societies, and what do we begin to notice about them? We notice that these coming in, when we asked Jesse Jackson, you all heard me and sister get Jesse Jackson on the radio and ask him about his activities with the Council on Foreign Relations. Didn't you? You heard that, didn't you? It was a good catch, wasn't it? It proved that the brother couldn't speak the truth about the enemy, didn't it? It did, didn't it? But then the point of it is, as Brother Greg researched, the fact that it said right in the Council on Foreign Relations rule book that a member cannot utter in the public anything about what was said or done at a meeting. They were sworn to secrecy in a mild kind of way. Now, I want to show you on the TV another oath. Because what we began to figure out, now you got to understand this as a brother. Let me just explain this to you. When I started off on the road to Rothschild, I didn't know about skull and bones. Then I got to the skull and bones, I didn't know about the boule. And then I got to the boule and it led me into the masonries and the secret societies. And you know, all of those things led me to come back to you with something I call the trial of the oath takers. And I suggested that the oath taker was a certain type of devil. Last night when we were in George Mason for the big day, one brother was sitting up front with his hat on, 5 minutes sick. He was a big brother, much bigger than me. And he was waiting all night for me to jack off the boule. But I was warming up for the night, so I was on the chief devils. I wasn't going to go all the way to George Mason, where they're sleeping around all their monkeys, and give them an analysis of some brothers.
Thank you.
Because if they was concerned, they would have had their ass and had me in a hour suffering over there and suffering over there with the monkeys.
That's right. That's right.
You're going to suffer on either way. Oh, a little sidebar while we're talking about Howard. We got to sound the alarm now. You all know we've been fighting trying to save the people who are having their leases repudiated at the Georgia Cafe, and at the nail shop, and at the travel agency. Those people that were working, doing valid black business in the Howard Inn, all had their leases revoked when the hotel closed. Didn't but one person fight back. The little brother and his mother in the cafe, Brother Derek and his mother. Only one, everybody else, except for one or two, just kind of took the shit and walked on out. Well, the brother fought hard enough that he fought for the right to stay open. He's not going to close. And the cafe will be open as long as that building is there. That's if right. He wants to. But let me tell you what this devil Howard did. They agreed that the brother and his mother had the right to stay, so they turned the water off the other day. Turned the heat off the other day. Closed the bathrooms the other day and said, yeah, you got your restaurant. You just ain't got no water. You sure you don't want to go now? But the lease says that they pay rent for running water, heat, and access to bathrooms and faucets and other things. And the president said in court how bad he hated that them people came and walked on his house. He said they even came in my neighborhood and protested at my house.
Howard University.
That's right. didn't turn the water off, so I think we're going to have to go back to it. So let me just say this. For those of you who are interested in fighting the devil, we got a double online Sunday morning. If you are able to meet at the Georgia Cafe at 9 a.m. Sunday morning, I know this is not the greatest time for everybody, but if you got the strength that can withstand a little weather and can come to the Georgia Cafe at 9 o'clock Sunday morning, the brothers will provide breakfast as much as you can eat. At 9:30 we will leave and go over to 30th. What's in the address? 3012 Arizona Avenue. 3012 Arizona. Big house. This is Boulay Swagger. Swagger, who's the president of Howard. He got a big house. All the Hunky's houses is this big. His house is this big. And so we're going over there on 30th in Arizona. We're going to protest at his house from 10 to 12. And I also need to tell you that we'll be on point again at the cafe on Wednesday night. And what I'm going to do on Wednesday night is I'm going to review some of the major events of the year 1995, as well as do about a half an hour piece on the boule that I think I need to do for some of those who asked for some basic dialogue. I will line something up. Now, let me do this quickly. I'm anxiously awaiting hearing from my man, Brother Hamza. I know he worked very hard to prepare on the devil. So I want to move through some things and then share with you a couple of new things I've worked on that we want to do tonight and enter into the record about the devil. Now, let's see here. TV on. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now maybe we can hit the lights here. I don't know if you can see it. But I want to show you something. Again, the suggestion is that there's something about the ritual. So I want to show you a little ritual of a society, a secret society. You know, I always told y'all about that movie, The Brotherhood of the Bell. And I told you about reflecting all the tapes. And I suggested that there was something about the movie that exposed the ritual.
not be a matter of money. There will be an act of duty, of loyalty to the brotherhood of the best. If you require anything at all, get in touch with this union, and he will see to it that it's arranged for you. Are you ready for hope? I am. The oath, gentlemen. I, gentlemen of the President, do swear in absolute faith that I shall reveal no secrets of the brotherhood of the earth, that I shall respect my brothers and myself, that I will act as they desire.
To come with him off to expose the society. But the point of it was that the societies are held together with the ritual of the oath, and the oath is compelling, and it puts behavior behind it. Is that going back? Okay, let's stop it. Just stop it. Let's go back. It's just as one little part I want to show you all. I heard talking about Hiram Whip and the master grip and these other things. And I just let it go back just a little bit back. It's going to take about a good 2 minutes because it looks like that takes Granite, my last stop is Granite. You all know what it looked like when they're doing raising them up. I remember them walking around the altar and stuff. Karen, you know it? You see the part of me backwards when they get pick him up after they dropped him due east, so many due west, and they put him in that little tarp and shook him around. Who that saw that on one of them tapes? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Charles, you'll know when they get to that spot, won't you? Yes. I just can't see it. In the meantime, I'm going to keep telling the people something. Now, just the point to that is that we all know that those oaths and those rituals mean something. And that's what had led me to that. You all know that's the logo of the Boule. And I know it's interesting, especially about Washington. As many people lived in Washington, I couldn't get hunted about that to the Boule convention. It was right in Baltimore. I wasn't nowhere to go. Didn't nobody come up from D.C. but Brother Bruce. And I almost have the feeling that people love these people secretly and choose to give them no harm. And they would rather be harmed by evil than harm evil. And I mean, never before in history has anybody even come up to raise questions about who are they and what are they. Last night I was telling you the story about the brother in the Phi Beta Sigma hat, who sat up front, crunched and flexed his muscles, just waiting for me to say something about the Boule so he could stand up and attack me. Well, the program was over and I didn't even mention the Boule, just to save it for when I get to them in February. But he jumps up and says, I hear you be talking against the Greeks. And I need to tell you that there's nothing wrong with us. The Million Man March was headquartered in Phi Beta Sigma. Said, so? I said, it was also a wiretap too. What does that mean? So then he said, well, all the great leaders were Phi Beta Sigma. The man who wrote the Negro National Anthem was Phi Beta Sigma. I said, fuck James Weldon Johnson. He was a Boule before he was a Sigma. He's not going to impress me with no Negro history. Not in the condition he in now as a race. So then he said, well, you just need, just because I got Greek letters don't mean I'm a Greek. I said, well, brother, I'll say it like this. When I look over and see a guy wearing a clown suit, and I might know his name even, still somebody looks around and say, hey, look, there's a clown. He might be Billy the Clown, Freddie the Clown, Leroy the Clown, he's still a damn clown. So the brother went a little deeper, but man, you just, all this stuff, you talk about all this garbage, and you have to go off into the information. Try to grab him by the head a little bit, grab by his arm, shoulder, and try to get him over to the chalkboard and have all white people across it. He said, well, I'm going to go out and tell everybody all I heard was a brother want to break down another brother. This ain't no good. Then I grabbed on him again. This was a little evil. I grabbed on him again. He snatched his way out the room. We almost, I said we was going to have a fight, but we was agitating each other a little bit. And the oath takers really believed that they could run the Minister Farrakhan. See, as I was attacking the Boule in LA, you get the videotape Insights and Reflections. You'll hear the minister of the West Coast of LA attack me about fabricating some information about Boule. They ain't no damn Boule. He said, ain't nobody that is totally out there fabricating this. This is the regional minister of the Nation of Islam. He didn't know what he was talking about. But then again, we found out he was Omega Psi Phi. And we know Ernest Just over at Just Hall and Howard. We know he was the faculty advisor to the forming of Omega Psi Phi after he was a Boule member in Washington, D.C. We know this. But what would make a man come up and say that? The oath. The oath. And so, and there's no doubt that this exists. But the brother, like the brother last night, he said, we got to quit this. This is all good. And I suggested that you couldn't go to the Boule. The Boule can't go to Minister Farrakhan and ask for forgiveness. He didn't stop loving it. Oh, that's like, go ahead and let it. Here's another ritual. You heard Mr. Farrakhan talk about Hiram Abiff and the secrets of the masturbation. This is the ritual.
To mutilate his body upon the penalty of the revelation of the rituals that he will now be given to in this degree. We believe the Word of God says in 1 Corinthians that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and as such it belongs to God, and we are not given the prerogative to tell nations that if we reveal their secrets, that they can take their body and mutilate it. I believe these points, along with many others that you can think of, is objectionable to the Word of God as it would a Christian. Now, I don't think single greatest sin the Masonry has today is what I understand as a Christian, right? The people who belong.
I know that's where you start, man. Blood. One thing I need to tell you is that this particular tape, which is about exposing Masonic rituals, is about a group of white people, Christians, going after the Masons' rituals. But it's about the white on white thing. And one group of whites want to expose another group of whites in their fight for who will control the world. But this ain't really even about us. We can benefit from the inner rivalry, but they ain't for us either. And I wanted to show you this ritual since it was brought up in the speech. And the question comes up, even why was it brought up? Why was there this Masonic dialogue that most of the black people didn't even understand? Why was that going on? And then, in the midst of that, why have the old takers gone to Brother Minister and sought refuge and salvation? Now you all know that you can see that between that Sigma Pi and Phi, that there's something you can't see. This right here. This indistinguishable on every example of it in the public. And what it actually is this. And Sister Karen, this is Sister Karen's contribution. She just happened to shoot a picture of it at the Boule convention. It was on the poster. Little bitty picture. From a little bitty picture, just enough that we can see it was 9 empty squares there. Sigma, 9 empty squares, pi, 9 empty squares, 5. Now the dictionary of symbols says that that word pi has a meaning. Says that the word pi has a meaning. What do we find the meaning of pi? When we look up the word round table, we find it's equated with the word pi. Round table is equated with the word pi. So now we're talking about whites having a symbol in a society, the round table group, and now we're looking for the chief of the devils of the whites amongst the blacks. So that's why they come with them 9 squares. Now, the 9 squares is kind of stupid. I mean, what is that? So we went to LA. Again, this is everybody's contribution. The pursuit of the devil is something everybody's participating on. I'll take it. Thank you, Robert. And Sister in LA, she gave me this. And you all heard this. They told me to go to you and repeat it again, but I just want to line up this space and set it up for Brother Harrison. The 9 squares, it says it's called the magic square. Now the question is the black community in D.C. too soft on its boule? Does it tend to suggest that this, as Brother has explained, is really may mean something, but it's not really relative? The U.S. Attorney's boule, older. Vernon Jordan runs the black side of America to the president boule. Carl Roy boule, Andrew Brimmer boule, head of the Joint Center for Political Studies. Eddie Williams is the head of the boule in D.C. Andrew Brimmer is on the Financial Control Board in the boule. Now, notice that this Grecian Sphinx has its right paw up over this urn. And that the urn got what inside of it? No. You're not going to tell me that the black society and how we got this book was up in Morgan State. We got the history book. You're not going to tell me that the white boys I told you about with the circle within a circle, you look up over at the black guys and they got the circle within a circle in their thing. You can't tell me this happened accidentally. Is anybody looking at this? Yeah. Did it come up? Okay, that's good. Now, so, what do we find? By the 9 squares, and these are called the Square of Saturn. What is it about Saturn? Does it have 9 moons or something? Does anybody know anything about Saturn? It's on TV. Rome. It's the name of ancient Rome. Satan is Saturn. Oh shit. Satan and Saturn. Satan and Saturn. going backwards a little bit. We almost said thank you, Brother Charles. It says that the magic square was important in medieval numerology. Medieval. I got to close on 3 basic things I need to tell you. The question that this 9 squares come from medieval is interesting. What do black people have to do with medieval times? Huh? No, I'm not saying it has. We just said the second row. We got to go to the first row. All right? Thank y'all. All right. You're going to stop it at the right spot. First you up here. You need the remote. No, I need the remote. Oh, got it. All right. Okay. So now I want to make this point to you because I'm going to make the point twice. The point has to do with this. The point has to do with this. Why does the black boule say something that has to do with medieval society? Why do these 9 squares come from the Middle Ages? Why would black people come something from there? Was the Middle Ages some black shit? No. Was medieval times some black shit? No. In fact, it'd probably be more like some King Arthur shit, right? Right? The black shit, the medieval shit is more like the King Arthur shit, right? And we know this. We know that the King Arthur stuff has something to do with what? Yeah, the witchcraft shit and the round table. And that was the round table. Now, and you know, the way the table was set up, the round table was that it was round and it had something in the center of it. It had something in the center of the round table. Now, so it then says that it says certain secret societies in the Middle Ages referred to it as the Kabbalah of the 9 chambers. The Kabbalah of the 9 chambers. What did the other boy call it? He called it the conspiracy of the 9. It then goes on to say that certain secret societies in the Middle Ages referred to it as the Kabbalah of the 9 chambers. Kabbalah. K-A-C-A. Any way you want to take it. K or C. Kabbalah. Has something to do with the mystery system. What would a group of black men who swear they ain't doing nothing together be down in this Middle Ages mystery system shit? It says doubtless, it says for each compartment contained a mystic letter or other symbol read together in a certain way, the signs conveying an occult message. Now, we know that the round table, at the round table, in the center of the round table was a point. In the center of the round table was a point. Now, what does the word point mean? We always talk about the circle within a circle. We look to the dictionary of symbols, and we see that the point signifies unity, the origin, and the center. It also represents the principles of manifestation and enumeration. And hence, some mandalas, the center is not actually shown, but must be imagined by the initiate. The mystery of the point. Now, what have I suggested? We then went to that analogy of the Wizard of Oz. You all heard me say over and over again, we'll penetrate. This is like a journey to get to the wizard who's behind the curtain, who if you named the curtain, you would know he wasn't part. But the wizard was protected. But my other assumption is this, that everybody kisses ass for the white man, but they don't know which white man it is whose ass they're doing kissing. They don't even know who's in control. We know somebody's in control, and therefore we kiss ass. And we were to go out here now and find 10 of the biggest booty fighters in D.C. and ask for whom did they fight the booty for, they wouldn't know. They just know it's good to fight the booty. Now, let me say this quickly. and Wesley's words on the other side, and made this in that fair order of the table round, a glorious company, the flower of men, who rolled about repressing human wrong. They spoke no slander, nor listened to it, who served as a model for a mighty world. They loved one maiden only. They loved one maiden only. So I go over into this book I just got.
Go to second grade.
Okay? I just got this book called The God of the Witches. The God of the Witches. And I looked up the word maiden. And it says the maiden is the chief witch who stands in to replace the king. The boule means in Greek the advisors to the king. Advisors to the king. It denotes subordination. You will never be the king. You are the advisors to the king. And so within that context, we then go over in the book, The God of the Witches, and find out that the maiden, they love and serve one maiden only. That the maiden was the word for the witch who replaced the king or was sacrificed for the king. Now let's go back through over there to Dante, over there in Meridian Hill Park. It ain't but 3 statues over there. Dante, some little man or some president sitting in a chair, and Joan of Arc. The 3 statues, and 2 I'm going to deal with is Dante, Meridian Hill Park, 16th Street. You know what I'm talking about? In Meridian Hill Park is a picture of Dante. Dante vibes deep on the Inferno, or his description of hell. It looks a little bit like the park. But the highest point in the park is a statue of the Joan of Arc sitting on a horse, and she is diametrically in the center of the Washington Monument. Joan of Arc, the female witch who was burned at the stake. Why would they put a damn witch in the middle of Meridian Hill Park? Why is Joan of Arc in the middle of D.C.? Joan of Arc and Dante sitting in Meridian Hill Park, the location where Thomas Jefferson wanted to make it the midpoint for the world. Why would that be? Joan of Arc. In order to be serving one maiden only and live for her through years of noblest deeds. Then Wesley says the round table lives. Only in poetic life and history, a little downturn, a little cold word. And they can live again in life. And we can make them live through us. It can continue as a dream, and it can continue again through us. All I'm suggesting is this. And we've been thorough with this, and I'm completing my overall discussion about the devil, is that this is the white boys, and somewhere around here are the black guys, the boule. And then the boule has a group protecting them called the guardsmen. And then the guardsmen are protected by the masons. And the masons are protected by the fools. Now, Brother Charles will verify this. Last Saturday night, we were in Morgan State. And when we was in Morgan State, we were passing the fire off over Hannibal, and a group of brothers got over in the corner and got mad at me. And they all kind of confronted me at the table like they wanted to kick my ass. And then, what are you doing putting this out? Who do you think you are? You can't do shit like this. Brother Charles knows this to be a fact. And I said, the message is simple. This is about the hunky. But if you take your ass out there and protect that hunky, your ass is going down with it. Let me repeat that again. That's right. If you, the black mason, consider this ruthless, dog, punk-ass, white racist, hunky mason your brother. Right. Over brother me. And brother him. And brother and sister you. Right. Whether we done a damn fucking road to gold, done a fucking ritual or not. If we ever catch you, I'm going to repeat it again. If we ever catch you, brother Masons, giving a privilege to a hunky you don't know, because he stands on a goddamn satanic ritual with you, then you will die with that one. Right. You will die with that one. And we here to tell you. The brother said, but a Mason is a Mason. I said a hunky's a hunky. Right. nobody suggests that these homies who we have zeroed in on deserve to be protected. And if we go to strike at these homies, if one fucking brother show up, he will die first as the example of what's going to happen to the white man. He is destined to die. They are destined to die. So why get caught up in that? But we're in a period where this is going on. And you may have thought about it, but decided that you ain't going to break the bubble of the illusion of happiness. We're starving other people living in palaces and shit. Come on, what we going to do next year? We're trying it every day. If the revolution came tomorrow, it won't be no march next year. We won't need one. So why don't we get on with the revolution? That's real. And it's in the Quran and in many places. Say, I don't even want to hear the heart of these hearts. For I know their wicked ways. Now, go over to the Alpha history book, where Charles Wesley wrote the history book. And Charles Wesley said, right in the opening of the Alpha history book, it says, where do these Greek letter societies come from? Now, the Alpha is it goes Boule or Sigma Pi Pi. I ain't good with Greek. And then it goes into the 4 male and the 4 female. You all know that that's the 9, right? Well, here the Alpha is the first of the males. Okay? And in that Alpha book it says this. It says in the first paragraph, the organization of Greek metal fraternities among Negro college men has been one of the inevitable results of the development of college life in America. College fraternities have been special developments of the college and university life of the United States and Canada. Relationships relates to what? Brother Steve, it says it relates to fraternal organizations and of the convocations of the Middle Ages. I'll be dead. Now this is the book saying that fraternities come from fraternal organizations and convocations of the Middle Ages. Now, and then it says, and with the corpse of German universities. Now, this is in the front of the Alpha book. Now, let me suggest this as I show this and move on. Get on up with it. Now, so, what does it say? If the black thing comes from the German thing and the Middle Ages, this is what I want you to zero in on. The German universities and the Middle Ages gave birth to the fraternities and sororities. Now, what was it that was in Germany? What university in Germany was birthing organizations? University of Ingolstadt. University, and you go out with that. The University of Ingolstadt. And it says that the Illuminati had its origins at? Where? Where's its origins at? Oh, you can't see that, can you? It says, this is now talking about the relationship between Skull and Bones and Germany. The Illuminati group of Bavarian conspiracies dedicated to the outgrowth of government. It says the society was when he say, where did they always say they came from? They came from German University. Let me hurry. The order had its origin in Yale in 1833. Hell in 1833. But Southern Rose is a chapter of the German Secret Society. It was introduced in the United States by William Russell. Later General William Russell and brought the charter back from his student days in Germany. Germany. He was hooked into the German connection. German. I'm just going to stop that there. And the Middle Ages, and we know what come out of the Middle Ages was the damn round table. Now, we know that the Boule logo is the Grecian Sphinx. And here in Mary Parker Hall's book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, is a picture of the Grecian Sphinx. You see it on the flyer. We know that the Grecian Sphinx is keyed in on the number 9, for it was the riddle of Oedipus. The 4 was on 4 legs and on 2 legs and on 3. And the sum of that was 9. And I start wasting that tape I got back there on the Boule. Translates this to be Lord of the Landlords. Lord of the Landlords. Now you all know that we use these symbols to denote. We have several symbols we use to denote what it was exactly. That was, it says here in this magazine that in Kemet, they lived the life of God, all-knowing, all-powerful. Saying in Greece, we were the first philosophers because we knew not of God. Therefore, we dreamt of God. We imagined God. We worshiped a God we never saw. But here, they lived as gods. And there, you can see that the Boule had the chance to be a black thing. But they chose to be a white thing and take the dark. See, it says in the thing, it says, this Grecian Sphinx is a guardian of something higher than itself. It says, this Kemetic cherub is the God. So why did the black men leave their innate position and stand up at the gods from the great Kemet and start the process of imitating the lesser ones, the cave dwellers, the ones who knew not of God, but only dreamt of God? Why would the prestigious, powerful black men choose to go such a low road with the devil? Now, just to close to say this, in the dictionary of symbols, you all know we define, two things I need to tell you. We describe what it is in the Grecian Sphinx. And I got to show you quickly this definition of Sphinx because it's very important to me to make this close on it. And the important thing to it, and I had it up here early, and I pushed it around to do something else. But I still find it. And what I want to show you is that this Sphinx, this Grecian Sphinx, like this other item we always talked about, or look more like a griffin or a gargoyle. In fact, you have a high school, and that's that high school logo here. That's one of your high school logos. I forget, it's a Bell, that's it, Bell. The Brotherhood of the Bell. This is a griffin for a logo. That's the logo, that's the griffin. I was over at UBC, passed out a flyer, and Brother walked back with that exact same picture. That's the picture on the griffin out of Webster's Dictionary. And that's the logo. You know that school, Brother Ben? Bell, multicultural, something like that. Vocation. And there you go. There we got Bell, got a griffin. And then we know there was a U.S. attorney called Griffin Bell. As a matter of fact. Now, let me do this quick. What I'm going to find for you now is the description of, I just had it, the description of the Grecian Sphinx. And I just want to do this quickly and end it because the point to it is that it says, look did I know when I was describing what this Sphinx was. Now remember that the dictionary definition of that griffin was, in the second definition, origin unknown, a white person due to the east. And that seems kind of ironic and almost arbitrary that they would lean into that. Well, let me just say this. I'll read this. I don't even have time to show it. But I'll do it when we get to question and answer. It says here under the description of the word Sphinx, it says Sphinx a fabulous being composed of several parts of the human being and 4 of various animals. The Sphinx at Thebes. See, it says here in the Dictionary of Symbols, it describes what happened at the Sphinx at Thebes. Well, in the 1995 edition of the Boulay History Book, which I'm going to review for the first 40 minutes of the lecture here in United 7 at the cafe, is that it says that the Sphinx at Thebes, which is in the Dictionary of Symbols, in the Boulay History Book, it describes the Grecian Sphinx as the Sphinx at Thebes. And I thought that was interesting. So then, ironically, we ended up with the right Sphinx. It said the Sphinx at Thebes had the breast of a woman. I need to find another copy of it so we can look at it here. It had the breast of a woman. It had the beast, it had the head and breast of a woman, the body of a bull or a dog, the claws, the claws of a lion, the tail of a dragon, and the wings of a bird. Being the supreme embodiment of the enigma, the Sphinx keeps watch over an ultimate meaning which must remain forever beyond the understanding of man. So the Boulay patterned itself up for the Sphinx at Thebes, and the Sphinx at Thebes was the whole of meaning beyond reach of man. And then it goes on to say that the Grecian Sphinx is ambivalent, at one point representing both God and the Antichrist. So it says the Sphinx represented good and evil at the same time. And of course we know that the fork tongue strategy is confusion. I close with this. I looked up with the word devil in the Dictionary of Symbols. And you know what it said about in the word devil? It says the 15th, oh, brother, you got that thing, you find it? It says here, the devil, the 15th mystery of the Tarot pack. It takes the form of a Baphomet of the Knights of Templar, portrayed as having the head and feet of a he-goat, and the bosom and arms of a woman, like the Greek Sphinx. I'm going to say that again. I'm reading you the definition of the devil, and it equates the devil like the Greek Sphinx. The Greek Sphinx is what the brothers chose over the Kemetic cherub. The Greek Sphinx is the guardian of something. The cherub is the something. Why would the definition of the devil call it like the Greek Sphinx? And so, I don't think it's unfair to conclude that it is not just that the Boulay took the ritual, like you'll see in this ritual closing here with hieroglyph, but that they took the ritual knowing that they were imitating the devil.
Check.
And that you might not think that John Johnson at Johnson Publications or Dickens of New York or Wilder of Virginia or Smoke of Baltimore are satanic. In fact, when we went to the Boulay Convention, they did 299 times. They did the electric, what do they call that thing? The what? The electric slide, and which just forms a square all over the floor. Right. Oh, and look up the number 4 in the Dictionary of Symbols, and it says Earth. One who can contain people on Earth. So we have a 2 million man march and the white people answer all that Masonic dialogue with, you got 400,000. 4 just meaning that yes, you have an Earth situation. We appreciate you seeking to contain it by seeking a political manifestation rather than a spiritual one.
Check.
The 15th mystery of the tarot card, it takes the form of Baphomet, the Knights of Templar, portrayed as having the head and feet of a he-goat and the bosoms and the arms of a woman. Like the Greek Sphinx, it incorporates the 4 elements. The aim of the devil is regression or stagnation, in that which is fragmentary, inferior, diverse, and discontinuous. Finally, this tarot mystery card is related to the instincts and to the desires of all its passionate forms, the magic arts, disorder, and perversion. And finally, as Brother Hansel so appropriately brought up, you can see this is on the flyer about the golden Wendy's, and he was teaching me about this, and you'll hear more about this, and we're going to have like a minute or two in a mission. So y'all should not move, go nowhere. I hope y'all don't have to go home and ain't snowing or nothing yet. Y'all need, in fact, if you look at your watch, it's 10:10. So don't move, don't go nowhere, don't leave, because the brother will go deeper than I did. All I did was lay the foundation for everything I ever said. Not only in the real world is about secret societies, but in reality it's also about the devil. And as Hamza so proudly lined up the golden Wendy's and how his picture was misportrayed, you could easily see that when you turned it upside down, you saw that Yoda in there. And Yoda connects to the 9 squares, because it says the 9 squares of the Kabbalah is equal to 15, which is Yoda plus 5, and it goes about the head and about the Yoda working together. And you can see, and of course, as Hamza said, it's about teaching the star man, the Jedi, to fight the dark side. You know, the dark side is the right side, but when they get to doing it, it's the black side of the evil and shit. We know that's just another misnomer of theirs. And so, I just want to thank you all for allowing me a minute or two to try to hook the things, all the things I've ever said to you, that it isn't just on the surface that is something wrong, but it's on the surface something wrong and it's evil. And that which is evil, I told you that diamond, that was something up with that diamond that didn't add up right. And I can tell you this, that last thing is that when you look at that diamond, the one thing about that diamond I want to know about is what's in the center of it. What is in the center of that diamond? What is in the center of that diamond? What makes that diamond come down the way it does? What stands in the center? What stands in the center of that diamond? Because somewhere, if this is about evil, and you know that river comes in there, right? Cuts it off, right? What is it for? Right, it forms a Y, or Yod, as Brother will explain. But it's something about that angle, that triangle, that suggests to me if we were to square this off, that there's something right there we need to find. I don't know what it is, but it's something right there. Somewhere, if you take this angle and square this off, I know Brother Bruce been out trying to find this spot, that somewhere in the center of that angle, somewhere right in the center of this, is something. There's something in the center of that, triangle. I do not know what. But I think it has something to do with our plot, catch the beast. I appreciate you all having a few minutes. There's some tapes back there you would want to get, the Devil in D.C., to catch the devil, Revolution 103, a video back there. I really need your support. I'm also going to have a raffle. I'm going to raffle off the video from the other night called The Devil Lives in D.C. I'm going to raffle the tickets off. Sister will have the raffle tickets in the back for just $1. Somewhere in Brother Hamza's presentation, we'll raffle it off. And I just want to say to you that more than anything, I appreciate Brother Hamza for doing everything that was necessary, not only to give us a chance to give this lecture, but I was all the way in California. The brother called my line. He said, brother, somebody's passed a flyer out with your name on it. I don't know if it's got anything to do with you or not, but it speaks up for you and it says that you have been denied your right to speak and have a chance to fairly influence the African people in the research that you have spent your time on. And when I got home, it didn't take me long to figure out it was Brother Hamza standing up and defending my right to speak. And it's a small, silly little right to speak. I don't have much to say, but I appreciate the opportunity to have a chance to say it. And I appreciate Brother Hamza will provide me with a forum to do that.